How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks. We focus on one thing: always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about FISKER. I know I did a video on it not too long ago. Many are asking me about an update. They've been seeing the recent price action. They've been seeing the conditions in the market. So they're like, yo, what are your thoughts? So I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for FISKER. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $11.66, being down 8.62%. On the low, it tested $11.48, and then on the high, testing $12.79. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 10.772 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 9.969 million shares. So we did have above average volume on the day, but it was met with a good amount of selling pressure. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is at 42.05. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 100-day, the 200-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. So what is very clear, since we are trading below all of our major moving averages, FISKER is in a bear market. And this big red candle that we see right here, we could break through the support level, which we've known to have right here around $11.20. We tested $11.48 on the low, so that's why I'm saying if there's weakness, we'll see $11.20, and then ultimately $11 will be an area to be tested for. If it ends up breaking through 11, that's where we can start seeing around 10.50. Now, if you want to see a reversal in this stock, it needs to come back to the 21-day EMA at $12.42. And upon doing that, it would need to consolidate and then make that next move up, where it'd be a psychological area right here at 14, which has been proven to be a strong area of resistance. But before we can even consider getting into this $14 area, then we have to make sure that we can get past this resistance right at $13. That will be very essential, and this is something we're going to have to wait and see. But overall, it does look bearish, and it is not the best chart if you're looking for a swing trade opportunity. So now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for FISKER. Scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we see the recent filings, we have for the 17th, we have Virtu Financial LLC that purchased 74,528 shares. We also have Zulo Investment Group that purchased 1,959 shares. We also have Toroso Investment LLC that purchased just under 30,000 shares. And we also have Bell Rock Capital LLC that purchased 13,836 shares. And then we have Neo Ivy Capital Management that purchased 7,507 shares. Closed position from Meridian Wealth Partners. We also have 3 Capital Management that purchased 126,900 shares. And we also have Advisors Asset Management Inc. that purchased 15,001 shares. And we also have Prestige Wealth Management Group LLC that purchased 125 shares. And then a closed position from Colonial River Wealth Management LLC. And that's what we have going as far back as the 15th. And now when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 59.77%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 2.86 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 400,000, updated 14 minutes ago, and then for the short bellwether rate, it is at 9.08%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 17th, it was at 53.23, and then for the close of the 18th, 18th, it's at 59.77. So that is a significant increase right there. And what this tells us, FSKER does continue to have short squeeze potential. So now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for FSKER. So on the inflow, it's at 21.33, and then on the outflow, it's at 16.25. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 1.53. On the medium, it was 12.91, and then on the small, it was 6.89. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large it was 0. On the medium, it was 10.98, and then on the small, it was 5.27. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for February the 18th, which is a Friday that just passed, we could see 1.53 million. And we also did see an inflow on the 16th of 1.07 million. So we had more inflows than we had outflows. So pay attention to that. And when we analyze the numbers for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 3.63%. So this is not too bad whatsoever for a stock like FSKER. Keep in mind, these are one of these growth stocks that are not profitable as of yet. So in the current conditions that we are in, you're going to be seeing a lot of volatility, and that is something that you need to be prepared for. So now let's go to the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for FSKER, the first point that I want to bring up, as far as for the analyst price targets for this stock, it is around $22.50. So this shows that there's a lot of upside. There are a lot of institutions who are bullish on this stock. So that is one thing that you want to keep in mind. But we have to understand they ended up releasing earnings. And as we know already, and I've talked about this in previous videos, this is a company who is not profitable as of yet. And knowing that, we know as far as these particular type of plays, they're going to have major pullbacks. And that's part of the reasons why we're seeing a strong sell-off, especially inside of the tech sector, where there are many stocks that trade there and what we talk about who are not profitable. So keeping this in mind, when we take a look at the price levels, it ended up seeing a low of around $11.48 on the Friday. So if we end up visiting that area again and we break through it, then we have to see if support can hold at around $11.20. And of course, the next line in the sand after that is to see if it could hold up $11. It wasn't too long ago when it broke through that $11 level, so please pay attention to that. As far as resistance is concerned and where we want to see a turnaround, it needs to get above $13. $13 is a key level, and the moment it gets above 13, that's where I want to see it make that move to see if it can handle 14 bucks. Of course, if it goes above 14, that's where I can confirm that things are really starting to look bullish for this stock, but I can't see this happening unless we have a big time turnaround in the market, and that could come very soon since we have been dealing with a large sell-off for the week that just passed. We also have tensions in regards to war, and there's also a lot of question in regards to interest rates and the Fed. So a lot of investors are not the most confident at the moment, but if you have high conviction and you believe in the upside in this play, like the price targets that I mentioned of $22.50, then it could be a solid entry to get into it. For myself, I'd rather stay patient and wait for the market to turn around and see if FSKER could follow. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it also continues to have short squeeze potential, and no surprise concerning all of the facts that I just gave you about them not being profitable. And when we took a look at the recent institutional ownership, we can see institutions have been loading up on shares. No surprises there since they do see a good amount of upside. But aside from all of that, it has been on a solid uptrend since the end of January. So we want to see if it can continue to do this, but it has to respect those key levels that I spoke about. So this is definitely a play I'm going to be keeping on my radar for a swing trade opportunity, but I will not be going into a position until we see a trend reversal. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how this stock performs for the coming week. We'll be talking real soon.